Bonjour et bienvenue à toutes et à tous dans cette deuxième édition du Sommet de l'éducation, Osez vos projets à tout âge, talents uniques, intelligence collective. Aujourd'hui, je reçois deux américaines. Jennifer Patten est membre de la tribu Osage en Oklahoma. Elle est coach et auteure, ancienne enseignante Montessori, auteure de 6 curriculums éducatifs, dont l'un est un curriculum Montessori basé sur les enseignements de la roue de médecine. Marlyse Wabun Wind est l'auteure de 13 livres publiés. Elle a travaillé et vécu avec Sun Bear et d'autres enseignants des peuples indigènes pendant de très nombreuses années, voyageant dans le monde pour transmettre leurs enseignements. Elle a coécrit avec Jennifer Patten Voyage dans la roue de médecine, livres et jeux de cartes. Bonne découverte.
Good morning, Jennifer and Marlyse. We are very honored to have you today, and I will let you first introduce yourself and then tell us more about the medicine wheel that is a big part of your work. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jennifer Patten, and I am a member of the Osage Nation of Oklahoma, living in Nashville, Tennessee. Today, I'm here speaking about a curriculum that I developed with Marlyse Wabun Wind. She and I co-authored a couple of different works together. One of them is the Journey with the Medicine Wheel and a curriculum for teachers and parents on the medicine wheel teachings. So today we will be presenting the medicine wheel and the way that we can use that within the school systems and for our own personal use.
Thank you.
And my name is Marlyse Wabun Wind. I worked with Sun Bear and many other Indigenous elders for about 20 years of my life. I was co-author with Sun Bear of the Medicine Wheel book, which is available in France, and Dancing with the Wheel, which is also available, and 13 books in total, 12 of which are published. I've worked with Jennifer for the past decade or so, I think longer than that now,
Yes.
and on her curriculum ideas. And then we started working on a different way of presenting the medicine wheel material that we hope would be of interest to younger people who are not used to reading lengthy chapters always. And that book is called Journey with the Medicine Wheel. And then we developed a set of medicine wheel cards to go with the book and to bring this material, to make this material more available to people of all ages. And we trust that that is going to be available, the book and the cards, in France in the near future.
Yes, we will work on that. Thank you to you both to participate and to give us this nice presentation, and we will jump on it now.
So the medicine wheel, or the sacred hoop, is a powerful symbol that is used by many Native peoples. It represents the universe and all aspects of creation. Everything in life is part of this great circle, all animals, plants, minerals, and humans. The indigenous people observed that the power of the circle was inherent everywhere in nature. So trees are around, birds build their nest in circles, animals mark their territory in circles, and the seasons and time of day all form a great circle or a cycle. The medicine wheel highlights the interconnectedness of all things. It represents unity, energy, movement, in harmony and balance with nature.
Medicine wheels were also sacred places where ceremonies were held, where time and seasons were measured. And they, perhaps most importantly, are vortexes of energy. They're a place where the energy of the earth comes out very strongly and where people can come to put their energy into the earth to help the earth to be in balance, to help the earth with her healing. Next slide, please.
Before the Europeans inhabited the North American continent, there were as many as 20,000 medicine wheels that once existed. The first medicine wheels were built of stone. Different tribes and cultures had various ways of dividing the circle. and what it represents. However, they universally demonstrate an understanding of the connection to the earth and to the Creator.
I'll be with you in a minute. Now, what happened to all of these medicine wheels? Because they were all across the country. When the Europeans came here, all they saw were circles of stones, and they considered them to be a nuisance to the things they wanted to do, to farming, to ranching, and all of the other things that they did to the Earth Mother and to the native people when they arrived here. And so rather than realizing these were sacred places, they just considered them stones, and they would cast them aside so that they could do whatever it was that they wanted to do with the land, much as they did to the native people who were here. And I feel, Jennifer, you should be talking about that more than I.
We all know that history.
Yeah, well, our French friends may not know that history, but maybe that's for another time.
Yeah,
So,
I could go into great detail on that genocide of the native peoples, but we won't do that today.
no, that's for another time. So next slide, please.
The medicine wheel served many purposes for the native people. These ancient medicine wheels were sacred ceremonial centers where the people would come to pray, to mark the changes of the season, as well as the changes in their own life. They view all life as a continuous cycle that is in constant movement and change. They view all things, humans, rocks, trees, animals, and stars, as all interrelated. And they view these things as all their relations. They are their relatives.
Now, when Indigenous people pray, and we all come from Indigenous backgrounds, whether we're living in France or America, if you go back far enough, you find that your ancestors were very similar in many ways to Native American people. And when they pray, they would always pray not only for themselves, they would pray for all of their relations. They would always include all the kingdoms of the earth, the mineral, the plant, the animal, the human, the spirit, and the elemental. Next slide, please.
The medicine wheel book came about as a result of a vision that Sun Bear had long ago. And in this vision, he saw that the time drew near when, for the sake of the Earth Mother and our evolution as human beings, that we must return to a better and truer understanding of the earth and all our relations upon her. He says we have to come to a point where we truly feel the oneness, the unity that connects us all to the universe, and that we have to reflect that unity in all aspects of our lives. We all share the same Earth Mother, regardless of race or country of origin.
Sun Bear was a visionary and a teacher, and he had many visions in his life. The medicine wheel was one of them, and probably one of the most important of them. Certainly one that has stayed around for a long time after Sun Bear went into spirit. And he knew that this was a vision that had to be fulfilled. And how that happened, we will tell you when we come to the next slide.
Sun Bear saw a time when we would need to put aside the petty fears that divide us and learn to live as true brothers and sisters in a loving way. He saw how groups could come together and could greatly affect the cleansing of the earth that is now occurring.
And that was the reason he began the Bear Tribe Medicine Society, which was one of his other visions and was the way that I first met and began working with Sun Bear. I left my career as a New York writer to go west and help him to build his community and help him to fulfill his vision. And eventually we started to write books about his visions, both about the Bear Tribe and later about the medicine wheel. Next slide, please.
Sumber and Marlyse Wabun Wind wrote the first medicine wheel books together and published these works to help share his vision. And these are a few of the original medicine wheel books that they shared and wrote together.
Actually, the first thing we did was a circle within a circle. I'd say like a phonograph record, but I'm not sure any of you will understand what that is. But you could turn the circle around so you could see the different plants, animals, minerals that affected you depending on your time of birth. And we at the Bear Tribe published that. And unfortunately, I don't have any copies of it left. But I sent that to my former literary agent, who was then an editor at Prentice Hall Press, and it arrived on his birthday. And he felt the information in it was so important that it should come out as a book. So he contacted us and asked if we could write a book about the medicine wheel. And we did write the first book that you see on the left. And that was published by Prentice Hall. And then Prentice Hall was purchased by Simon & Schuster. And the other copies came out. There is a 25th anniversary edition of the book. The book has been in continuous print since 1980, and it has been translated into about a dozen other languages. And recently, within the past 3 or 4 years, was for the first time published in Mandarin, so is now available in China and Taiwan. Next slide, please. And then we were asked to write more about the medicine wheel. And so we did the book to your left, Dancing with the Wheel, the Medicine Wheel Workbook, which tells a lot of exercises, meditations, and ceremonies that you can do to help you understand the medicine wheel and what it is teaching. And that book is available in French. And then we wrote Dreaming with the Wheel, which told how to use the medicine wheel symbols to help you to interpret and work with your dreams and visions. And then Jennifer and I wrote Journey with the Medicine Wheel, which is also available in Mandarin. And after we did that, we did the medicine wheel cards, which I think you can see they're in their packets next to Journey with the Wheel. And they're a fun way for people to become familiar with the information in the medicine wheel. And also a way to encourage people to relate to all living things. Do you want to add anything to that, Jennifer?
No, just the next slide, please. So this is a picture of Marlyse and I at a convention with all the medicine wheel books. And you can see where we had collaborated on the adult version, Journey with the Medicine Wheel, along with the fun, informative card set to help adults and children to learn the medicine or the life force energy that is inherent in all living things.
And then the slide now is a close-up of Journey with the Medicine Wheel and the medicine wheel cards, showing you both sides of the cards. And basically, all of these are designed to help people realize that they have to be open to change and growth in their life. That because you were born with one set of animals and minerals and plants that help you, you don't stay in that place. You try and travel around the wheel.
Next slide.
And
As a Montessori teacher, I was intrigued with the medicine wheel material and thought we really needed to have this written and developed for children. So I wrote Marlyse to see if I could use this work to write that curriculum for Montessori teachers. And these are examples of the covers of those curriculum books that we published together.
And I was very happy that Jennifer was working on a way to bring this material to children, because the younger you begin to feel your connection to all of life, the better. Next slide, please.
In the Montessori tradition here, we use the 3-part card nomenclature card set to teach about various subjects. So you'll see there's a picture and a label and a description card. And this card set is about the turtle. And just like the show, The Wildcrats, if you're familiar with that, the medicine wheel and the animal wheel teaches us about creature power, or the power of the creature within. Next slide. This image is showing the 36 positions of the medicine wheel and the animals that are represented in each position. Next slide. And the medicine wheel here, you can see it's circles within circles here. And the medicine wheel represents the 4 directions, the 4 elements, earth, air, water, and fire, the 4 colors or races of people, the 4 seasons, the 4 times of day, the 4 aspects of the human life, and the 4 aspects of our own nature: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. The idea is that all life flows in a circle or in a cycle. And next slide. These are in the curriculum guides, there are legends and stories of animals and plants and minerals. And they also have many lessons that can be taught to children so that they can understand more fully how the medicine wheel and animals are part of our world. Next slide. Here is a medicine wheel in my garden, and the medicine wheels can assume a variety of forms. It can be artwork, it can be pottery, a painting, or a structure built on a land. So the next few slides will be about medicine wheels that have been built and honored on different aspects.
And no matter what form the medicine wheel takes, it becomes a place where we can more deeply feel the energy of the earth and send our energy with more power back into the earth to help with earth healing, which is very critical at this time, obviously.
Next slide. This is another medicine wheel that I have close to my creek, and it's got an altar here. The next slide as well shows more of a close-up picture of it with the heart rocks that I have found on my land. And next slide, I have a larger medicine wheel that I use for group gatherings that is also down by the creek and has creates a larger vortex of energy. And the next slide. It's again another view. The next slide is yet another view of that medicine wheel. And the next slide is a view of a medicine wheel that is in a friend of mine's garden in Brentwood, Tennessee. And the next slide is a close-up view of that wheel. It's very pretty. And the next slide is a medicine wheel in North Carolina. And the next one is a medicine wheel that my daughter and a group of her friends that we built down in Wimberley, Texas. And the next slide is a medicine wheel that was built in Maui, Hawaii. And the next slide is another one in Maui.
And this is a slide of a medicine wheel that we were asked to come and build, and I am not going to mispronounce the name of the town in Provence in 2017. And as far as I know, that medicine wheel is a permanent one that still stands on David Paquin's land. And it was very beautiful because after we built that, a sundog, a rainbow around the sun, appeared in the sky right over the medicine wheel. And this is another medicine wheel that we built in Fontainebleau Forest near Paris in May of that year. And the person who got this medicine wheel together got extremely large stones. You can see them in the 4 directions. They were heavy, hard to place, but quite beautiful. And this is a medicine wheel, a temporary one that we constructed outside a tea house near Taiwan when we first went there. It is difficult to find land in Taiwan where you can put a permanent medicine wheel, although there is one permanent one that is further south on the island.
And the next slide shows a Pendleton blanket that was made, and it's called the Circle of Life. And I used it as a focus to teach children as an indoor medicine wheel. And the next few slides will be slides of indoor medicine wheels. The first one here is one that I created and I use for my own personal use in my daily meditations. And the next slide is just another of an indoor medicine wheel in Nashville, Tennessee. And the next one is one that was created. Do you know, Marlyse, who created this one? And Yu Chen, is it,
Yes.
in Taiwan?
Yeah, she's one of our translators into Mandarin, and she painted all of this, and I think it's very beautiful.
Beautiful.
And the next slide is a pottery medicine wheel that my husband and I created. And we made several of them to give as gifts to people. In fact, I think Jennifer has one of them. And the next slide is a pottery medicine wheel that was given to us. And the next slide is another pottery medicine wheel from an artist in Santa Fe that we have in our home.
And in the next slide, there's a medicine wheel shield and a vase that was created by my good friend, Suchi Waters Benjamin. Both made of pottery. And the next slide is, these are some examples of how children can create art to understand the power of the medicine wheel. It can be used as a guide to help teach us the proper respect and balance with the earth, with ourselves, with each other, and with all kingdoms. The medicine wheel shows us a way to embrace nature and all the good medicines of this good earth. So this was created, by some young children in art, in an art class. And what we did on the first picture there is we had these cut out, and they just placed the colors in the 4 directions, and then we had them label those directions and taught them just very basic things in the very beginning of what the circle means and how we divide the circle into the 4 quadrants with the 4 directions. And then later we get into all of those circles within the circles and the time of day and time of the seasons forming a circle and so forth. So these are all many, many lessons that can be used in this, in the various medicine wheel curriculum books. And the next slide is just it's a graphic that I created with Dr. Maria Montessori, and her quote, "We shall walk together on this path of life, for all things are part of the universe and are connected with each other to form one whole unity." And as some bear would say, walk in balance on the earth mother.
So, Emmeline, is there anything else that you had hoped that we would cover for people who will be part of your conference?
I was wondering if you can give a few tips to parents or teachers that are listening to us about how to build a medicine wheel. Do they have to, ask for a medicine wheel builder, experimented builder, or what are the steps to building a medicine wheel at home or in a school?
There are a lot of steps to building a medicine wheel. They are outlined completely in the Dancing with the Wheel book. So
we also have them outlined in the Journey with the Wheel. In the back of that book is how to build a medicine wheel. And in one of those slides, you can see the positions of the medicine wheel, but there are 36 stones altogether in the medicine wheel. And there's a process that is involved in building that. So, and the curriculum books show that as well. In each of the curriculum, it shows what those positions are and has a graphic of that.
The most important thing is that people come to build a medicine wheel with the right intention and the right attitude, that they know that they're doing something that is sacred, that they know that they're doing something to help the earth, and to teach their children how to feel all of the nature around them, to expand their view so that they know that they are part of the circle of life. I think that's especially important now when so many things are happening on the earth that are frightening for all of us, that children learn to see the beauty and the power and to respect that and not to fear it.
And when we teach in Native traditions and Native teachings that when you collect anything from the earth, like if you're gathering up stones, that you ask permission if that stone wants to be carried and to be used for that purpose. It could be serving a home for a little creature, or it could be holding up a plant or something. So to honor and respect that, we ask permission first and try to get some intuit, some kind of feeling of whether that is appropriate or not. And then, we use those in that proper, respectful way. And I've also taught my children and in Native tradition that when you take something from the earth, you also give back. So a lot of times we will sprinkle either cornmeal or tobacco or a hair, or just to give thanks, to show our gratitude for that that object, whatever we are collecting to use for the medicine wheel.
And building a medicine wheel together would be a wonderful lesson in itself for children, but it would be one that they would have to be prepared to do. And Jennifer's curriculum is a wonderful way to prepare them to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I will switch to French just to tell about this collaborative idea we had about how to translate Journey with the Medicine Wheel and the curriculum. Donc, pour ceux qui sont intéressés, on aimerait beaucoup pouvoir traduire ce très beau livre et tous les curriculums de Jennifer en français. Donc, on va proposer, je vous proposerai en fait de collaborer. On verra les modalités, mais que chacun puisse traduire en fait une partie, un chapitre ou un curriculum, et qu'on mette tout ça ensemble et qu'on puisse rendre ça accessible au plus grand nombre. I'm very honored that you participated and that you shared all this. So thank you very much to you both, Jennifer and Marlyse.
And thank you for having us and for allowing us to present this information and this material that is so important that we teach it and share it with others.
And I thank you too, and wish wonderful success to all the parents and children who come in contact with the material through you, Emmeline.
And if you have any more questions or want to learn more, you can go to Marlyse's website, marlysewabunwind.com, and all of the medicine wheel books are there to purchase on her shop page. I also have the curriculum materials and the journey with the medicine wheel and card sets on my webpage on bigmedicineteachings.com. So you can look at both of those and learn more about that.